All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on whenever you're watching. Thank you for tuning in to episode 130 of the Restricted Zone podcast, episode number 30 here on YouTube. I am your host for tonight, Jonah Wooten, joined tonight by. Introduce yourself.
You already know who it is. It's your boy. It's the smartest man on the podcast. Earlier, we got some verification on it. It's not self-proclaimed. I'm just saying we got evidence now. But we're gonna save that for another time.
Okay. Johnny, why you turn your camera off, man? Come on. Introduce yourself. There you go.
Back, baby.
There's the advocate. No, just analyst tonight. Analyst tonight, no advocate.
Hello, world. Just Johnny tapping back in again, baby. Just an analyst, not an advocate. I know what I say is controversial. I'm just an analyst. Kendrick,
Yes.
we're not doing that. All right. I got to tell the folks. At the end of the day, I appreciate the audience. Much love to those who are watching the podcast. We're getting feedback, man. I was out and about, and somebody I knew watching the podcast, we dropped a segment earlier on the top guards on our NBA segment, and they happened to agree with a comment that Kendrick had made. Shout out to you for watching. Controversy does sells, but you just blew this man's head up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, talk about, here we go. Now, smartest man on the podcast might actually start having a ring to it, at least to this guy. Here we go. That's my fault, guys.
All right, we'll give it to you. We'll give it to you for now, Kendrick. You got it.
Thank
Chris
you.
will be joining us just a little bit later on. He's doing some things right now, but he will be back and he will join us later on in the episode. So, with that being said, week one of the NFL season is come and gone. There's a lot. I mean, we had a couple of upsets. We had the Chiefs getting upset in the opener. That was a week ago. Jeez. Giants. Daniel Jones looking like he is who we thought he was. After getting, $160 million this offseason? His O-line did him no favors, and we'll talk about that, but he didn't have a good night. The Giants had a terrible night. Pretty much just all of MetLife, that whole stadium just had a bad 2 nights. And the Jets, they might have won their game, but at what cost? They beat the Bills, but at what cost? So Aaron Rodgers out for the season with a torn Achilles. We're going to go a little more in depth on that. Josh Allen, he is who, at least I thought who he was. A lot of people, don't want to come to terms with that just yet, but they will in due time. But hey, let's get into it. There's a lot that happened in week one. Let's start with the Browns and the Bengals because I can't forget. I gotta plug. It's YouTube. I gotta plug our stuff. Me and Kendrick last night did an episode on the Eagles, episode 129. We broke down week one, our victory. It was rough, but the one is the win over the Patriots. We broke that down and gave you a little preview for Thursday Night Football this week against the Vikings. Also, me and Johnny did an episode with the Eagles breaking down their entire schedule and 53-man roster. So make sure you check out episodes 128 and 129.
We're going to need that now.
Yes, sir. So thank you for that. Browns and Bengals. One of the shockers of the week to go along with the Chiefs and Lions. I mean, the Bengals offense was in hell pretty much all day. Only put up a field goal. They lose 24-3. Joe Burrow, a lot of people like to claim him as the second best quarterback in the league. Only threw for 82 yards on 31 attempts, 14 completions on those 31 attempts, 82 yards, a QBR of 20.3. Deshaun Watson had a pretty pedestrian day, 16 to 29, 151 yards, and a touchdown with a pick. Not bad. Nick Chubb, player of the game, with 106 yards on 18 carries. Honestly, that entire Browns defense were the players of the game. Kendrick, getting the K names mixed up. Kendrick, your thoughts on that Battle of Ohio on Sunday?
So I gotta be honest with you. I don't really find the Browns winning as a shock. I more so find it shocking that the game was so lopsided and Joe Burrow and the entire Cincinnati offense played tremendously bad. Like that's what really shocks me about this is because it's like you see names, you got Joe, you got Jamar, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. You hear that and you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a high scoring game. But they just came out and was flat, had nothing going. And it maybe you can say the weather, but I'm not doing that. I'm not really gonna take that. You're professionals. That's your job. Rain, sleet, hail, snow. If you can play, if you are allowed to play, then you should be able to do your job. So, like from the receiving point, like Jamar had 5 catches, 39 yards, but then everybody else, like the second highest was Joe Mixon with 17, and then 17, and then you had Tyler Boyd with 10, and then you see T. Higgins go 0 for 8, not a single catch, nothing. It felt like it looked like he was doing cardio out there half the time. What's going on? What was going on with the offense? And I mean, the defense did as much as it possibly could versus where you got to start looking at the offense and be like, y'all got to help me. Y'all, come on, we a team and you not doing your part, and I'm trying to overcompensate for you, and there's only so much we can do. So I just feel like overall, it was just like the Bengals just had a terrible day and a terrible game. And real quick, did Joe play in the preseason? Did he play in the preseason?
Calf injury. Calf
he was
injury.
hurt. He got hurt.
I forgot he did have that calf injury. So this was his first time playing. So I mean, it did look overall bad, but I felt like it was just the theme of overall week 1. If you notice in a lot of quarterbacks, in certain quarterbacks, when they didn't play in the preseason, they ain't really do so hot, or they ain't really play up to their standard of play because they ain't have that repetition before going into the regular season. So I feel like that, and it's calf injury. So all of that comes full circle as to why they struggle. But when they meet again, and I forget what week they meet again, but whenever they meet again, I feel like it's going to be a much better game and a much closer game.
Johnny, how do you feel about these Browns? I mean, we can talk about how bad the Bengals played, but I feel like it will be a disservice to the Browns who actually showed out and did what they were supposed to do to get a week 1 victory. Are they a team to be feared in the AFC North, or is this just like, all right, week 1, calm down, relax? Can they get back? Maybe.
We're gonna blow the whistle on this whole week 1 year of this year. With that being said, to your point, but like I do have to give credit where credit is due, because even though Jamar Chase did say in the post game we lost to a bunch of elves, and I do understand his point because that's a game they should have won. We might have underestimated maybe how Cleveland is a little bit this year. To your point, Jonah, I wouldn't put them at the top of the AFC North just quite yet. But at the same time, they have pieces that we have.
I'm just saying, should they be feared? I'm just saying, should they be feared?
And
I ain't saying they're winning the division.
And
not winning the division.
And to the answer that question, like,
I mean, they could.
I wouldn't put them at the top, but like they do have players to be feared. Oh, come on. Come on. Well, Baltimore. Well, Lamar got paid, so we'll see. But in the meantime, as far as Cleveland's going through, I feel you. But as far as Cleveland's concerned, they do have pieces that can be feared or can be scary at times. So to answer your question, can they be feared? I would say yes. Can they be division winners? Not quite yet. There is a difference, though. There is progress because people weren't even scared of the Browns for God knows how long. Now Myles Garrett is a player of the year candidate on defense. Denzel Ward might have solidified himself after what he did to Jamar Chase as like one of the top corners early in the league to look out for. And I'm not gonna lie, like given the weekend that receivers had this week, you might have to give Denzel Ward props for sure. Myles Garrett, that's Debo. He's tuck your chains in. So they have pieces that can be feared and respected, but I wouldn't put him at the top of the AFC yet. Deshaun Watson, like you said, pedestrian game, but at the same time, he did what he was supposed to do when you have a defense that dominated like they did. And at the end of the day, nobody picked, I don't know who picked Cincinnati to win this game. I mean, Cleveland to win this game, unless you're a Browns fan. So, with that being said, Deshaun Watson played the preseason.
I took the over.
The Browns.
So that's
wonderful. You did? Well, does it feel lonely up there on your pedestal? Does it feel lonely up there at the mountaintop? because my God, nobody else did, including me. Joe Burrow bust my ticket. You can't throw one touchdown, 3 points. Don't get me started. But anyway, to conclude what I'm about to say, I think we need to give the Browns more respect. Deshaun Watson played the preseason. The Browns came in more healthy. They were more prepared, obviously. And at the end of the day, it's a divisional game. A lot of divisional games for week 1, I will say. But yeah, you got to give the Browns the respect. I will say next matchup will be different. But yeah, the Browns took advantage of week 1, of a wacky week 1.
Put respect on the Browns. That's all I gotta say.
Well,
that's all I was advocating for too, man. I'm just like it's looking less like a 7-10 year, more like a 10
year, man. Joe Burrow, I got a stat for you. Joe Burrow's 1-4 against Cleveland. He is what he is against Mahomes. He may be the quarterback that he is outside the conference or outside the division, but against the Browns, he's 1-4. Now 1-5. So there's a stat for you. So at the end of the day, yeah, respect on the Browns' name.
All right. They're looking like a 10-11 win team right now. I still think
division winners.
No,
9
Baltimore.
9
wild
card.
10
in a tie. 10 in a tie.
Wild card is fair. Wild card is
because the
fair.
Browns always seem to be a part of a tie, don't they?
No, it's the Bengals.
Historically.
Honestly.
Is it the Bengals? Okay.
Yeah, I think we tied them twice, bro.
I know it.
We tied them twice. 08,
bro, remember
and 2020, we tied the Bengals.
Remember in 08 with the post-game press conference, everybody was confused.
I didn't know.
They were like, I thought we just keep playing. Like Donovan McNabb didn't know what to say. I didn't either.
As great as a player as he was, he was such a goofball, bro. I swear to God, he was.
Yeah.
But that's getting off. Topic. Let's move on to the NFC. Let's slide over to the NFC.
Yes, sir.
Another game in the early window. Buccaneers defeating the Vikings in another of Week 1 upsets, 20-17. Baker Mayfield, not bad for his Buccaneers debut, 21-34, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Most importantly, threw no interceptions. So for Baker Mayfield, good job. I know I'm setting the bar pretty low for him, but he threw no interceptions. Good on him. Mike Evans, who's dealing with a contract dispute right now, most likely will not be back on the Buccaneers next season. Ken making that face because that man is out of there. He had 6 catches, 66 yards, 666. Ugh, that ain't good. But he did score a touchdown. Kirk Cousins for the Vikings. 1 p.m. Kirk, not primetime Kirk, not 425 Kirk. Just 1 p.m. Kirk still can't get the win. But he did, put up some pretty good numbers. 33 of 44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did throw an interception. But the big story here is that the Vikings were 11-0 last year in 1-score games, and they lose their first one here in Week 1. So maybe some of that magic from last year is rubbing off. So is this a sign of things to come? Is this because, they're at home. The Bengals, you can say, they're on the road, Joe Burrow, his history against the Browns. Like, what's the excuse here for the Vikings? This is a game that they should have had won. Maybe not by a blowout, but, at home. Buccaneers, a lot of teams have them finishing 3rd in their division. So, what's going on here?
What we gotta say? The Vikings going Vikings. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say.
Like it's 1 p.m., bro. It's 1
come on, Kurt. This is your time. This is your true time. This is you. This is your I'm him moment. You did everything but win the game. You did literally everything but win the game. You and Justin Jefferson was looking like peanut butter and jelly. Like Justin Jefferson, 9 catches, 150 yards, no touchdowns though, but 150 yards, bro. You had the man averaging 16.7 yards per catch, bro. Like his average 16.7 yards. No touchdowns is cool. Got him in position. Got him moving down the field. You threw 2 touchdowns. Cool, but you threw an interception. And you threw an interception in the red zone. And that right there is the problem. You throwing interceptions is always bad, but when you throw them in the red zone, it hurts even more because you're so close to that. You're so close to home, and you mess it up. And then that throws everything off. and then Baker Mayfield out here talking like, man, after the first half, y'all was Swiss cheese to me because I knew all your plays. He said, I knew the signals you were calling.
He said he knew their signals. That's kind of a self-own, though, because like you only scored 20 points. I mean, should have lit them up.
He figured it out after the first half, you know. So he ain't figured out
in
right.
The second half, they should have put up 20 points in the second half alone.
I mean, but listen. You asking a lot out of Baker Mayfield now. Like, you got to be a little bit more reasonable. So we still talking about Baker Mayfield. It's not like you know, somebody like Joe Burrow or like, you know, Jalen Hurts seeing and figuring it out.
He's an NFL quarterback. He's more than capable. If you know the defense. Then, I mean,
yeah, but you can know the defense, but if you can't deliver it and do and make those passes,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he can, but maybe I'm just giving him too much respect.
I don't know. Maybe you give him too much respect, or maybe I'm not giving him enough respect. But I don't know. It's still Baker Mayfield, and he's still going Baker Mayfield it up. However, I mean, he had
no interceptions, man.
He did have no interception, 2 touchdowns. That is true. I will say I gotta give him that, but like you know, he went 21-34. You know, so I mean, I don't know.
The numbers don't light up the page. They don't light up the page. But he didn't lose the game. That's all you can really ask for him.
Hey,
he ran for 11 yards
on 8 attempts. Yeah, on 8 attempts. Yeah, I mean that's cool. Yeah, he ran for 11 yards.
Those QB sneaks or something like 8 attempts.
Maybe something happened.
Kneel downs. Did they count the kneel downs as part of his attempts?
Like, oh yeah. How many kneel downs did he have?
That's taking away yards. Oh,
that's also true. Yeah, that do take away yards.
Rushing, boy. If you don't
look, listen. I'm gonna tell you this now. What we need to do, I get it. I'm gonna tell you this now. We gotta. And you talk about putting respect on people's names. Me personally, I feel like Baker Mayfield deserves a little bit more respect. This guy's on his 3rd team. He's on his 3rd team. I remember a game last year where he had got traded in the middle of the season, probably like from Carolina to LA, probably spent maybe 2 days with the Rams, plays a game, starts, and takes them to a win. This guy is a baller, low key. He's a baller. I feel like you put him on the right team, you give him weapons.
You would need like an elite defense to win a Super Bowl with him. And listen, he can win your games.
He's inconsistent.
He can. Okay, well, listen. That we'll see as the season goes on. Listen, we'll see, because at the end of the day, listen, it was a wacky week 1. I will say that it was a very wacky week 1, bro. Nobody picked the Bucs for this game, but I'm gonna tell you this now. I picked Baker to have a good game. I did. I picked Baker to have a good game. First of all, Chris Godwin is for once healthy for the first time in his goddamn NFL life. He averaged about 10 yards a pop. All right, gave you 51 yards. He got open. He could get open in spurts. He proved that they kept him for a reason. That Buccaneers defense, I put some respect on them. All right, Christian Isaiah.
We got to see them week 3, man. I'm not entirely excited about that.
And listen, at the end of the day,
we got to win, but I'm not entirely excited about it.
We take it one game at a time, but we're gonna take that team serious. We take every team serious. But at the end of the day, the Minnesota Vikings did not take that team serious, especially their defense. Christian Isaiah had his first I think NFL interception. I think. Dev White, Levante David, Antoine Whitfield Jr. They still have a defense now. All right, they still got some players. Don't play them for sweet. And at the end of the day, Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. 100+ yards. He's a freak. All right, fine, whatever. Take that aside. At the end of the day, they were still able to do their job and get off the field. It was a bend but don't break defense. They still have formidable players on defense, formidable veterans, formidable players. You combine that with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who I feel like is a little bit, tad bit, maybe tiny bit, just a bit of a hair underrated, just a little bit. I think you could combine them with maybe 9 wins, give them 9, and maybe a couple of competitive losses. But Tampa is part of it. You give a wacky week 1.
I mean, if there is any division for them to win,
NFC South.
Exactly.
But like Kendrick said, factor in preseason and lack thereof. You got players taking time off and wacky week 1. Yeah, man. Why not? Any bet could have went the other way. Baker had a good game. That defense did what they could. Justin Jefferson is in a class all his own. So when you come to players like that, you just play through players like that. And they did a great job, man. Like, you got to put something on Tampa. But at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins, wow. Big numbers, but no dub. And that's before 4. I'm surprised too.
Over 300 yards. Justin Jefferson, 150 yards. And they still lost. The fact of the matter is they still lost. So I'm sorry.
Secondary is trash. I will say the Vikings secondary is trash. I will end my note with that. That Vikings secondary
it's a damn
is trash.
shame because they're going to have to eat that 0-2 tomorrow.
Because
guess what? Justin Jefferson
secondary
is going to get his. He's going to get his. He's going to get over 100 yards again, and he's probably going to score a touchdown and do the little gritty and all that good stuff. It's not going to matter. I don't think it's going to matter.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I tell you what, we'll get into us in a minute. Well,
also, they just lost their starting center, so
yeah. Well, we lost people, and I'm scared. We'll get into us in a minute.
Mr. Carter, them A and B gaps, free real estate.
Did you know that him? Here's a stat for you. Him, I think him, Carter, and I forgot the guy, Jordan Davis, the guy playing next to him. I think they led week 1 in QB pressures.
Yeah,
that's great to see. Great to see.
Carter just by himself, he led all D tackles in pressures. Rookie. So yeah, no starting center. Free real estate tomorrow night. Sorry, but let's move on to the game of the week.
Hold on, real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick, but before we go to game of the week, I do gotta just respond to one thing. I'm gonna be honest, Johnny. You saying Baker Mayfield is underrated? Got to be one of top 5 most blasphemous things you could have said on this podcast. But we'll move on.
I would just say he's rated, bro. He's not. He's just
Give him
there.
Some credit.
He was severely overrated at one point, but now on his third team, he's just who he is, bro.
You know the process it takes to get traded from one team to left Carolina, probably got laid over, got to a hotel in LA, went to practice, been in LA 3 days, puts a helmet on, starts, takes him to a win, then opens up the season with a win and against a team he's protected who went 11-0 last year.
Oh, this is 14. This is 14.
But it's what he's been doing. He wins football games.
Listen. I'm gonna tell you this.
Respect to you, brother.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. A broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh, you better stop it. Oh,
every squirrel gets his nut.
Might pull for Bake this year, man. I'm not pulling for Tampa. Nothing like that. I might pull for Bake, man. Baker Mayfield, 3,000 yards.
We got a Baker Mayfield truther on the pod.
3,000 yards this year. Mike 3, Evans is still there. 3,000. Bake could do it. I'd say Bake 3,000.
Give him 35 at least.
35. I wouldn't say 35. I did, but that'll make it interesting, right? 32.
Quarterbacks can pull 3,000. I mean,
32. That's what I'm going to say.
Worst quarterbacks in the league at 3,000. But
Bake's getting. Mike's there. Fine. 38. All right, we'll make it interesting.
Yeah,
he ain't getting 38.
One of the best in the
He's
game,
getting 35.
So.
I'll go 35 with Bake this year. I'll go 35 with Bake. Bake can ball, baby. Bake can bake. All right, don't get it twisted.
God, stop
Bake
it.
Can bake.
Now you advocating for Baker. Look at this man.
Just an analyst. I'm just analyzing.
Oh my God, Johnny, you're a character, bro. I love you, bro. You're a character, dog. Game of the week: Dolphins, Chargers. Look, a combined
game of the year.
It's only week 1.
Early candidate. I like it.
I can't say game of the year because there's no defense. Like you gotta have a little. You gotta have
Tyreek Hill. Freaking. Never mind. Go ahead.
Come on, man.
Bring it in, Jones.
Game of the week. I gave it a game of the week. Come on.
No. I know. I'm jumping again. I know. I'm wild. I'm jumping again.
Being fair.
No, you are.
70 points. It's insane. Either way, it's entertaining. I mean, I'm old school. I love defense. I like to see defense. I'm old school, but to see like just two offenses just go crazy, just go like bar for bar, basically. Like it's like a versus episode. They're just going bar for bar with each other. Like it's entertaining as hell. especially when you're not a fan of either one of those teams and you're not a part of that seesaw, emotional. You just sitting there, you just watching it like it's just like
it's a heart condition. If you're a
Tua
Dolphins fan or a
Tagovailoa.
Chargers fan, we have to check their heart monitors of all Dolphins fans and Chargers fans. And it's like during this week, you need to check their heart monitors.
You guys know who won the Player of the Week awards? I'm pretty sure he won AFC Player of the Week.
Brandon Ayuk won NFC Player of the Week.
I know our boy Jake got Special Teams of the Week.
Woo!
Yeah,
He missed an extra point, but still, whatever.
I should know that. But Tua, I mean, he's got to be a lock for Offensive Player of the Week in AFC. 466 yards in Week 1.
He can play. He can still
play.
Just
straight out of preseason, he uses 466 yards. I don't think that's sustainable throughout the whole year, but he ain't gonna throw 400 yards a game. But that's insane. 466 yards. Tyreek Hill had 215 of them. Just on the ground. 2 touchdowns. If you had either one of those guys on your fantasy team, you should have won last week. Just an insane game. Justin Herbert, he didn't quite light up the board as Tua did. The Chargers, they mixed in a lot more of their rushing offense in there. Austin Eckler had himself a great game. 117 yards and a touchdown for him. Herbert threw 229 yards. So, I mean, both teams, I guess, had a shot.
That's a lot of offense. 117 and 229 in the air. Jesus, and you lose?
It's like Herbert, he just hasn't had like a great defense. In this entire, so far in this entire career, he hasn't had.
You know what's crazy?
Defense.
You know what's crazy though? Like Chargers got some big names on the defense. Like you sitting there, you got Derwin
the front
James.
7.
But you got Derwin James, and then you got
Asante Samuel Jr.
I mean, this is what his third year. So you want him? You hopefully he takes that big third year. Okay, hopefully he takes a big step. Hopefully he takes a big step.
So. With that name, man,
the Chargers suck. Why are we talking about that?
Dang. All right, dang.
Okay. We got the Raiders.
Put your camera on, brother.
Chargers always Charger. That's all you need to know. They're like the Cowboys of the AFC. That's all we need to know.
Listen, this is coming from a Justin Herbert fan.
I'm a Justin Herbert. You're right. I am a Justin Herbert fan. I feel bad for me. This is such a terrible situation.
I'm an Austin Eckler fan personally because he won me my fantasy league last year. So
that's cool. We are gonna talk about fantasy, but
I heard some news about some fantasy.
Yep.
I swear to God, I wasn't.
Jonah was just bringing it in, bro. Chris, what's up, bro? The high scoring game. It was.
It was a high scoring game.
You're the AFC West. You're the AFC West fan here, so let's hear your input.
Okay, definitely the game of the weekend for sure, and it showed just the firepower that both offenses have. I think the fun thing about the Tua versus Herbert matchup is the fact that every time Tua steps in that field against Herbert, he has to prove that that the Dolphins right to pick him over Justin Herbert. But he's to show that every time, and he showed it. He balled out. He had a better game than Herbert, which is great. But at the same time, I can't be surprised because the Chargers, and they always do stuff like this. Always. No matter who they had. Outside of 2006, that 1 year where they – and even, as a matter of fact, we can even add 2006 in there when they went 14-2, had that home game against the Patriots, were supposed to win. What happened? Ball fumbled up, interception. It's just the Chargers being the Chargers at the end of the day. It happens every year.
That was like an all-time team in 2008. Just a waste.
Exactly. They had one of the best offenses I've ever seen.
All the time, bro. LT and Madden 06, bro.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Everybody picked the Chargers. Who didn't?
Sean Merriman on the defense. I missed that.
Yes. They had Antonio Gates. God rest his soul. Vincent Jackson. Like, come on now. They had a team, and they still couldn't do anything.
What a name drop. Vincent Jackson.
Because he was nice in San Diego. Yes, rest in peace to that man. Yeah, it's just the Chargers being the Chargers at the end of the day. And I don't know why. Were they running man coverage on Tyreek Hill? Who does that?
200.
JC said I got him. But hold on.
Why.
200 yards.
See, this is what had happened.
He had 2 bills.
No,
Heck
listen,
no, bro.
listen.
What?
Tyreek said, listen, I'm setting him up for failure. Watch. He said, this is what he had said. This is what he was talking about. He said, I went inside all first half. Inside. He said, he went up to his receiving coach and the head coach. He went up to Wes Welker and Mike and was like, yo, watch this. I got JC. He didn't want to move on the outside. Touchdown. Easy work. So I don't know. Tyreek said he was setting up himself to really disrespect JC on other teams. So I don't know.
Listen, man, boy. Listen, at the end of the day, I tell you one thing's for sure, 2 things for certain. You protect Tua, he can play. He can still play.
Top 5 quarterback. Healthy, he's top 5.
Play, I don't know if it's the arm sleeve tattoo.
Top 5.
Hey, blasphemous. And he said my
I really want to know who these 5 are.
Hey,
I really want to know. Just real quick.
I'm throwing a flag on that one.
2 is in there.
No.
I said healthy. I said healthy, fully healthy, and what he got around.
So let's just say hypothetically,
Baker's top 12.
His brain isn't soup. All right, his O-line's protecting him. All due respect.
Not soup.
All due respect.
It's the arm tat. He got an arm tat now. You know, he a little out there.
It gave me superpowers.
I am rooting for Tua though, because like I know he's got to be tired of the media, man.
For sure.
He's like, bro, like stop
Chris,
asking
you ain't gotta look so
dumb-ass
disgusted.
questions.
I do. When you say stuff like that, I have to.
All right, how about this? Well, how about
you don't got to give him the top 5 now, but I'm gonna need that sooner or later, Kendrick.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that. We definitely need
listen,
that.
all I gotta say
you
is
can put it in the group chat. Text it in the group chat.
Boy, we gonna revisit something too, because you called me blasphemy. We're gonna revisit this, but since
I just want to know if he's in the top 5. Is he number 5 or is he higher than that? Because he's higher than that, then I really need to see your list.
I gotta be honest. When I say he is number 5, he skids it like he makes the top 5 on my list, and the list would be he number 5. So I'm not saying that's wild.
Because this is somebody that we're about to talk about who was in the consensus top 5, but he can.
Man, Josh, I don't know. Josh Allen on that hit or miss.
No, are we going to get into that? Are we going to say, is that too early? Is that for later? All right, bet. Because, all right, the last thing I wanted to say about this segment is, I don't know, man. Dolphins top of the division now.
I had him winning the division before Aaron Rodgers got hurt anyways.
What?
They already were. Yes.
Why?
Why they had the Dolphins win before Aaron Rodgers got hurt anyway?
Because Jets got
a better defense.
It's not even their fault this time.
Because the Dolphins have something that to me no other team has. They have 2 game-changing players on one side of the ball. That's Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They can turn a 15-yard play into a touchdown just like that. They can just change the outcome of a game. So because of that, I feel like there's just too much speed on that offense. I don't care how good your defense is, you got to catch up to the brothers.
Okay, you know what? You spitting. All right, you might be on the phone.
Think about it. At this point, you really got to put 30 on the Dolphins' head to have a chance to beat them. You got to put 30 on their head.
Rodgers could have did it. Tua's not pitching with Rodgers. Rodgers out pitching Tua.
I mean, Garrett Wilson can't do it by himself.
And they don't need a lot of time to score because again, they got game-changing speed.
Rodgers makes anybody. He's one of those few quarterbacks.
Well,
don't say Lazard is cool, but he ain't touching Waddle or Hill.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying Lazard, Cobb, like Rodgers, he'll find a way to get points. So he'd outpitch Tua, but that defense.
You know what Tua got to do?
What the Kanye say? I guess we'll never know.
Oh my God, I can't believe that. Whatever, we'll get into that in a second.
And let's just get right into it. I told them in the group chat we can just make this all one segment. Just talk about New York football. I guess technically New York, New Jersey football because 2 teams play in Jersey, but nevertheless, New York football is in hell right now. Which game do you want to start with? We can talk.
Let's start with the trash Giants and
as an Eagles fan,
bro.
So
this could be real quick.
This
could be reol quick. This segment gonna be real quick. We starting off with the Giants.
I am so conflicted with this.
This ain't gonna take long.
It's like,
are you kidding me?
Giants got the ass beat, but now I gotta hear about the Cowboys, bro.
Now no Darren Waller. No Darren Waller. Did that matter? No Darren
He
Waller.
played.
Would that have mattered? Did what? No Darren Waller, bro. No, that hamstring. No, he didn't play. He played.
suited
He was
up.
on the field. Yeah,
He put the
no.
pads on. So
He was not. He was not. Chris, was that Darren Waller?
I
Chris, was
mean,
that
it's.
Darren Waller?
I mean, it's tough
Raiders
to come
fan?
back. Well, I mean, it's tough to come back in a game when you give up a touchdown off of a blocked field goal and then throw a pick six right after that. The game was already over at that point in time, so it didn't matter what Darren Waller did after that. The game was over anyway.
man, they couldn't even stat pad in garbage time, bro.
That
Like,
had their line can't block a park cone.
Stagnant. Just
7 sacks for the Cowboys defense, 2 interceptions. Off
bro,
of
just
Jones.
Giants is stagnant, just going backwards. I'm like, what the?
It was
what a cap.
It was a very bad week
I'm
one. I will
making
say
nasty
that.
comparison.
It was a wacky week one. I said that, Chris. It was a wacky week one. I mean,
Oh, no.
I expected a lot more, man.
I'm about to make a nasty comparison, but I'm gonna give Daniel Jones a few weeks to prove me wrong.
Make a nasty comparison.
But with that contract that he just signed for in the offseason, if this play keeps up, I'm gonna make a nasty comparison. And if you know me well, you probably know who I'm talking about, and it's not a football player. So,
oh no!
I'm gonna spare him. I'm gonna spare him for now. But he's got to improve his play.
Oh yeah.
Does he play for the basketball team that a lot of people don't like anymore?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, the one. He made like a little over 30 million.
Cookies. Yeah, he likes humble cookies. Yeah, that guy.
Yo, chill. We gonna move on because I just got mad.
No.
I just got mad. I just got mad.
Because it's 1 week.
Jonah.
But he has a look. Listen, because I know Giants fans. My brother's a Giants fan.
I'm grilling him.
That's fair. He's got 1 month. Got the rest of the month.
Listen, they got Arizona next week. You got a lot of damage control. They better light Arizona up, man. Because I'm gonna get real nasty with Daniel Jones if he doesn't.
I gotta be honest. I better see him gritty.
Coach of the year. You better coach.
You know what I will say though about that game? It just showed the difference in just team talent and just execution between the Eagles and the Cowboys, and then the Giants are down here. It was just literally night and day. Like the Giants are going to probably be the third team in the division, but they're not better than the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Like objectively, even just put the NFC East crap aside. Like I'm in a way I'm rooting for the Giants. Of course, not to beat us, not to win the division, but I'm rooting for them just because like I love their culture. I love their coaching staff. Like
that blue collar football team.
Ryan Dable, like he's a good
seriously.
coach. Like he took nothing and turned them into a playoff team with a playoff win last year.
Yeah, like, we talked about him last year, like one of the up and coming.
He's a respectable guy. Daniel Jones. I mean,
Bill Belichick.
I'm this close to being nasty, but he's a respectable guy.
Kendrick said week 4.
I'll give him a month. So I mean,
right. Well, yeah. At the end of the day, that Cowboys win. The Cowboys win is fabricated. I need to see more. That Jets defense will be more of a test for Dak, and that's when I'll see what he'll do.
Yeah, I don't need to hear anybody caping for Mr. Dakota Prescott because he was just there. Like he was just there to look pretty and just.
Did he throw a touchdown?
No, he didn't throw no damn touchdown.
That's horrible.
They don't want him throwing the ball at all.
Like how don't you do that?
Because he didn't need to.
He didn't need to.
You had a part of one touchdown.
I'm sorry to go on a little rant here, but these Cowboys fans, like, all last year, bro. Jalen Hurts, like his passing numbers is like they didn't light you up because like he didn't need to throw the ball. Like we're a run first offense, and a lot of games are over by like the fourth quarter. So it was just garbage time. Like so, like of course they just they talk their talk. Oh, Jalen Hurts, he's not a pocket passer, yada yada yada, and then here goes Dakota. He's just chilling because his defense is doing all the heavy lifting. He's like, he didn't have to do much. Like, he only had 170 yards or something like that. Oh, he didn't have to do much. Like, yeah, that's what we've been trying to tell you. Like, the same thing for Jalen. Like, oh my god, bro. That's a rant. That's a Twitter rant.
I will say
it's a Twitter rant.
I will say this for the Cowboys.
It's a problem when I do it.
I will say this though. Even though they're going to the same outcome that they always have every year. That defense might be top 3, and I don't think they're going to be number 3 either. That defense is kind of legit.
Over San Fran?
I mean, they can compete with San Fran's defense. They can. I'm not saying they're over there, but they can compete with the San Frans of the world.
Their defense is incredible.
The Jets of the world. Who else?
Baltimore?
They got way better defense than Baltimore. They got better defense than Baltimore. Baltimore's defense isn't all that.
I like Baltimore's defense.
They should be better than what they are.
With a healthy Humphrey, I like Baltimore's.
I mean, wasn't he healthy last year for the most part? They had one of the worst secondaries in the league.
That came from the offense, putting them in bad positions. But lack of a quarterback.
Defense is nasty in Dallas. I ain't going, but like you said, it's not going to matter because who's quarterback and who's the head coach. It ain't going to matter.
Well, yeah, Dallas whooped that ass, and it was bad to see. I will say this: the Monday night game, in my opinion, and the Sunday night game were both horrible from a fan's standpoint.
Different reasons, because the Monday night game was a lot closer, but
it was a wacky week one. We will say that a lot of weird games. Like what, bro? I remember just switching channels, just like what is this? Oh, hey Chris, we brought that up too. Kendrick, me, Jonah agrees as well. Preseason needs to be brought back a little bit. Like this proved it. The concept of preseason, a drive, maybe two, maybe a half a drive, whatever. Put your dress your starters for preseason, bro.
That's like imagine going on tour.
Week one showed it.
Imagine a musical artist going on tour and they don't do no dress rehearsals at all. It's just vibes. They just go out there like they don't even know their set list.
I'm
just out there just vibes. Like
I studied the script. I know. I studied the script. I know.
I mean, I don't disagree with you fully on that, but I will say this: if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm not playing preseason games. I'm not doing that. No.
He personally earned that right because he damn near 40. But there's a lot of guys.
We can't all be. A lot of teams needed preseason this past week. It was sloppy football.
I mean, but it was also
Josh Allen and Steph Diggs, horrible performance. Mainly Josh Allen, horrible performance. Preseason was needed. Jalen Hurts, I love you, brother, but preseason was needed.
And there's nothing physically wrong with him. It's just he was missing his reads. He don't got that rhythm down yet, so it's just.
Oh. Don't get me started. Please don't get me started on Josh Allen. Please don't.
What's wrong with Josh Allen?
Let's
that's the next.
You brought it up. The Monday night game, Jets and Bills. Mr. Josh Wentz threw 29 for 41. 236 yards, touchdown, and 3 picks. To be fair, one of them was basically an arm punt. It pinned the Jets inside the 5, but
and a fumble.
He fumbled too. Well, I didn't watch.
He tried. It was a bad play. It was bad, bro.
4 turnovers, 3 interceptions. Listen, yes, he's talented. Yes, for the most part, he's a good quarterback. He's not an absolute scrub. Yada 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 yada. But I see where he's trending, and he doesn't have an ACL tear to use as an excuse.
I feel like he's missing.
I see where he's trending, and it's not looking good.
I feel like he's missing something.
He puts his body in harm's way. He puts his body in harm's way when he runs.
First of all,
he's reckless with the football. It's like his hero ball. Why? Like he's playing hero ball.
Please, man. I feel like he's missing something. Like I can't figure it out. Like what is he missing? Chris?
I think Chris got the answer.
I feel like he's missing something, man. He's got all the intangibles that you said, Jonah, but I feel like he's missing something.
I don't get it. I don't understand what it is with a majority of these quarterbacks that get paid a boatload of money and then just don't play the same that they played before they got paid. And I don't understand that. I don't know what happened to Josh Allen because 2 years ago when he was battling out with Patrick Mahomes in the AFC divisional round, the championship game, in the playoffs, that's all we know. He was cooking. Now ultimately they lost, but it wasn't his fault they lost. He put them in a prime position to win, and the defense couldn't stop them with 13 seconds left because of who? Tyreek Hill. Game changer, like I said, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that another day. Anyway,
Kelsey just run down the field wide open to get in the field goal range.
That too. I don't know. I don't know. But literally, ever since
game, to that point, can I just add this? They lost that game in overtime because the offense couldn't get onto the field, right? The NFL changed the rule for them. And they're 0-5 since. Josh Allen is 0-5 in overtime since they changed the rule. So just want to throw that out there too.
Bro.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what happened to Josh Allen. I really don't, because it's like the first 2 years when he was in the league after he got drafted, you saw the talent, but you saw the growing pains. You can understand that. Year 3, he took it to a whole nother level, and we said he is finally here. He has finally come to play. Then these last 2 years, he done wet the bed both times, and I don't understand why. Then he wet the bed yesterday. I said yesterday. He wet the bed on Monday night, and a prime opportunity. After Aaron Rodgers went down with an Achilles injury, that could have been your time to say, damn, it sucks that Aaron Rodgers is playing, but I smell blood. It's time to take him out. And you do that? That's the performance you put up? He gave Whitehead his what's the word?
Bonus. His bonus. Gave him his bonus on the first game, bro.
This man is pissed.
Your first day on the job.
Nobody had that. No Jet has had that many picks single-handedly in one game since Ty Law in like 05. So he gave him
he gave him his incentive in one game. That man went to practice the next day and got paid. Got paid because of Josh Allen. Are you kidding me? Really? Yes. Is the Jets defense good? Absolutely. But when Zach Wilson was in the game, they did not move the ball that well. They did not move the ball that well until they got to the fourth quarter when they were able to finally get in range to score a touchdown. Great catch by Garrett Wilson, by the way. Very great catch. But there's no way that they should have still been in that game. No way. What is Josh Allen doing? Like, seriously, why is he regressing all of a sudden? We see the talent, but it's like he's going backwards now. And that's terrible. He really keeps this type of play. He's really going to get ran out of Buffalo in 2 years. This year and next year, he's going to get ran out of Buffalo. Does he want that?
What is he missing? I mean, is he missing Brian?
Should he get traded?
Is he missing Brian Daboll? Like, is it crazy to say that?
What coaching, vision, film? What is he? He's missing like that one thing that maybe consistency. I don't know what it is, but it's like he does. He has potential.
I've seen it when a quarterback has lost his offensive coordinator. Like, what happens to him? Like, I can't,
bro. I can't with Josh, man. And like the type of throws he was throwing, I'm just like, at this point, you're just disrespecting the NFL. Like what? Like it was like either Diggs or die. It's either Diggs or die, bro. That was his motto. You're just disrespecting
the whole.
Like, bro, what throw is this? Pop Warner safeties are picking that off.
Oh,
like, seriously, he's throwing in a triple coverage, double coverage. He's throwing punts.
Arm punts.
Pop Warner safeties are picking that off. I'm picking that off. Jonah, you're getting 2 picks. Kendrick, you're getting a pick 6. Like, what? He was Oprah. If you get a pick, you get a pick. Like, what? I was highly, like, this is just not, it was just bad quarterback play. And like Chris said, I just didn't expect it. I'm like, wow. First of all, the Achilles injury threw me off. I didn't even think, I thought he'd be back. I thought it was a sprained ankle, So in my head, all right, Josh Allen's probably going to go down and score maybe once or twice. Jets are in trouble. You didn't want to do this. And Josh Allen just kept giving them the ball back, bro. Like, when he high snap, loses the football, just gung-ho to pick it up, gets mangled, fumbles again, turnover. That was his 4th one, by the way. Like, that, I'm just like, what do we watch? It's either that and Mark Sanchez butt fumble. It's giving me that type of nostalgia. And it was just bad football. It just looked like he played like a guy they picked up off the street. And I don't know, man. Gave him a microphone and a helmet. Like, it was just horrible football, man. They need to rebound from that. Josh Allen, hopefully he isn't that. But I don't know, man. Why is he regressing? I can't figure it out.
He has a chance to bounce back this week when they play the Raiders. Now, we have no secondary whatsoever. So if he can't cook our secondary, there needs to be a conversation in the Bills organization about Josh Allen going forward. There needs to be.
And they better not use a short week as an excuse, because you're at home against a lesser opponent. Ain't nobody trying to hear.
And it's the Raiders, and it's the Raiders they're playing. So they have no excuse not to cook us.
Watch out for Josh Jacobs. He kind of cooked last week. Watch out for Josh Jacobs.
That man did cook last week. Stop it.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team. What did he cook? Grilled cheese sandwich?
Hey,
that
man,
man did me no favors last week.
We
Don't even.
still don't know how we
I don't
won,
want
but
to hear
we
that
won.
name right now.
A win's a win's a win. That's one thing we learned this week. Well, a win's a win's a win's a win.
And the Jets, they got that win in overtime. Xavier Gibson with the punt return, 65-yard punt return touchdown. So, I mean, look, they lost Aaron Rodgers. They won, but at what cost? They won a battle, but they lost the war, I guess. That remains to be seen, though, because now the keys are in Zach Wilson's hands. So, I mean, Kendrick, can they survive this season? Zach Wilson. Something just had, I don't know. That's a dog.
Yeah.
Doing something she's supposed to.
Yeah, just dropping stuff. But no, listen.
Can they survive, man? I mean, I know. I've been hearing reports that the Jets have been calling around for potential backups. Wilson, I've been hearing Foles. I've been hearing Wentz.
Disgusting.
Like the quarterback market.
Don't let Carson Wentz come back.
Disgusting.
I swear to God, bro. Oh,
we won Cam
Newton.
Disgusting. All disgusting.
Listen, RG3 even threw
talking about
his
himself. Like, bro, you saw that clip, bro?
Yeah.
He said,
you saw that clip talking about some NFL GM said that he can still play. Boy, if he could still play, you'd be playing, bro. You wouldn't have a suit on, bro. You have on shoulder pads. I ain't trying to hear that. All due respect.
He said, I ain't trying to play no backup.
I'm hearing Kaepernick like, bro.
No, they shut that down. They shut that down.
That's over.
Like, I heard Tom Brady. They shut that down.
That would be hilarious.
Tom Brady,
I would personally go to that game in Week 6 in the Meadowlands. Tom Brady.
Right, bro.
That would be hilarious.
Jets, a longtime rival of his early career. But I will say this though. I will say this gives Zach a chance to redeem himself because the team started. It seemed like the team started liking him a little bit more than last year after that dumb comment he said post game. We all remember that game where the Jets held their opponent to 3 points, and that opponent still won the game. And Zach Wilson post game asked if the offense was the reason they lost, and he's just no. Like, dude, but anyway, he lost the team's morale in order to trust in him. I feel like he has a chance to gain that back with these keys. Play better in the second half. Garrett Wilson was talking to him on the sidelines. Aaron Lazard piping him up. I feel like they have no choice, obviously, but I feel like the rally around Zach might make him not better but sustainable because when you have a defense like we've been mentioning all time, the Jets defense this year. When you have a defense like that, you don't have to be. You just got to be sustainable as a quarterback. Just be sustainable. Breece Hall, heck of a game. 65-yard dash, 20-yard dash. I forgot how many yards of pop. Great game in the run game.
He rushed for 127 on 10 attempts. That's 12 yards.
Yeah.
12.7 to carry. That's big.
Insane. So when you
coming back off a season injury last year.
Exactly. So Zach Wilson, you don't got to do much. You don't got to be a hero here. All right, just keep your head down, watch film, do your job. Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over, and that's it. And I honestly, like I said before, I didn't think Aaron Rodgers tore it. I ain't gonna lie. I saw a replay of him getting tackled. It looked like his calf muscle kind of ruptured or jerked a little bit, pause. But I didn't think it was a tear, bro. I didn't think that. Like, that was insane. That was insane.
Bro, his whole calf was just like vibrating, bro. Like, that's how you know the Achilles popped and the whole leg is just like jiggling like jello like that. It's nasty. And that MetLife turf, like, they installed new turf this season. It's new turf. But that's the problem. It's turf. You need to switch
the Sod Father. Look up the Sod Father. Was he a part of that?
Don't mention that name. Don't mention that.
Right.
That old man who overwatered the grass in Arizona. But I ain't gonna get into that. That was February. That's all right. Over. Don't mention that old man again, man. Don't do it.
Duly noted.
But it's the Jets. I mean, if you want Marcus Mariota to take him off our hands, you're more than welcome to. Zach Wilson, you got the keys, young man. Let's see what you got. Let's move on though, because we are winding down here on episode 130. Chris Jones has been a topic in the news recently. He signed a 1-year contract this week ahead of the Chiefs' Week 2 matchup against the Jaguars. He held out all summer because he wanted, a salary figure that was close to Aaron Donald's $31.6 million a year average. So doesn't quite get that, but he's going to get $25 million on a 1-year deal with incentives. So base salary is $19.5 million, but he can earn up to $25 million just this season. So what are some of the incentives? He gets $1 million if he plays 35% of the snaps. He gets another $1 million if he plays 50% of the snaps. He gets $1.25 million for 10 sacks. He gets an extra $500,000 if he gets 15 sacks. He'll get an extra $1 million on top of that if he gets first team All-Pro and the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, and he'll get another $2 million if he wins Defensive Player of the Year and the Chiefs win Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. So, with that being said, the Chiefs also, with this deal, they can they have the option to tag him in 2024 if they see fit. So, Kendrick, we talked about it a little bit in the group chat. Is this a deal worth holding out all summer for?
Honestly,
and missing a game and getting fined on top of it.
It's tough because he was also at the game. Like, he was literally in the stands watching the game, being like,
And
"Y'all really need me."
He was in the
like,
suites.
that's crazy. That's crazy. But is it a good contract? In retrospect, I say yes because of the fact that it's only on a 1-year deal, and since it's a 1-year deal, getting that probably the max amount they could have be like, we'll get you at and be reasonable. I feel like it was a win for him because he got all that. Like, he what out of the 19.7 million as his base salary, he gets like 18 out of that, pre-tax. But he gets that because it's like, he gets to pay back on his fines, and especially if he hits his incentives, then the incentives, he feels like I get that whole base salary. So I feel like it works out for him for that 25 mil, because then that leaves the option to be like, all right, I gave y'all a year to figure it out. Give me my long-term deal that I deserve and earned because of what I've done. And especially if he hits those incentives, if he hits all his incentives, that just literally goes to show you that he's like, no, you're going to now have to pay me that money. Like, I earned it by what I done. Look at my body of work. Look at my body of work and give me my money. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking for a reasonable price. If you're telling me no, then you're being unreasonable. But overall, I feel like the contract's a win for him.
Yeah, 18.4 of that is guaranteed, like you said. Chris, did he win this battle with the Chiefs?
Hell no, it wasn't no damn battle. What, bro?
He didn't get the long-term contract.
The same thing happened to Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. They all held out trying to get long-term deals. We all saw basically franchise tagging deals with a lot of incentives, so they get paid, quote unquote, above the market. But none of them won the battle that they wanted. They all wanted long-term contracts. He didn't get his long-term contract. I'm pissed. He even signed the shit he signed. I didn't want him to play. I didn't want him to play. I wanted him to sit his ass out all year if he had to. Get traded. Just on another team. It helps them definitely because you see how badly his defense needs him. They don't need him as badly as they need Travis Kelce, but they need him. So they got him back, which is good for them. I hate that for them though. I really do, because I don't want him to play. I would have said I'd get paid by another team, whoever that team was. It sucks.
It would be a tough sell to try to get a long-term deal sitting out an entire season like that.
Listen, man, it's happened before. And again, like Kendrick said, his body work is impeccable. The man got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's been an All-Pro, made multiple Pro Bowls. Like, damn, like if I want to make 30, like we just saw Nick Bosa get paid a ton for the winning Defensive Player of the Year. He changed the game for defensive players right now. I can't wait to see what Michael Parsons asks for now when he becomes a
my goodness.
I cannot wait to see what he asks for because of what Nick Bosa got. I can't wait to see that. But I'm just saying, look at this. Even if he's up there in age because he's in his 30s, Javon Hargrave just is making $20 million a year right now for having a really good year. But he's nowhere near the caliber type of player that Chris Jones is. He can't get 25 a year.
And Hargrave was surrounded by a lot of talent, and lucky for him, he'll be surrounded by a lot of talent on this new team as well. So
He will. I'm just saying, Chris Jones also deserves 25 a year. 25 a year. If Aaron
Chris
Donald can
Jones, he's the guy in Kansas City at deep line.
Exactly. If he doesn't get back there to cause pressure, they don't get pressure at all. And that showed when they played the Lions. He's the only one that can get QB pressure back there. They need him. But they're not going to give him 20. They can't give him 25 a year. Come on now. I wish he sat out still. I wish he didn't sign that contract. I wish he would have went to every game at Arrowhead, watched them do whatever they do, and still say, until you pay me, I'm not playing. I'll watch it from the stands, support my teammates, but until you pay me, I'm not playing. It's year comes to win in, and I still got a contract, I'll go somewhere else because I know some team will pay me. I'll be happy as hell to see that. But nope. But it makes sense though. You gotta play. You gotta show your taste, so some team will offer you. But I feel like a team would have offered him anyway. But I don't think he won the war. I don't think anybody that signed a 1-year deal won the war this offseason because they all wanted long-term deals.
But he won a battle? No.
No, I forgot. I forgot that Gardner Johnson in there. Gardner Johnson didn't win his battle either. He won a long-term deal. He got a 1-year deal as well. Nobody won their wars.
His agent screwed him over with that one, man. But that's a whole nother story. Johnny, your thoughts real quick. You know, technically he can get his $25 million, but he's got to do a lot of work to do it. So, is that fair for an organization to do that?
So,
I mean, I guess it is. I mean, they make the rules, but
yeah. Well, first of all, I agree with everything Chris said. Number one. Number two, I understand your question, and I understand the concerns that we all equally have regarding this topic. And I will respond with this. Brett Veach, the general manager for the Kansas City Chiefs, he has put out the recipe. That is how you do business. And at the end of the day, like Chris said, nobody won. Because when you are under contract with a team, you have no choice but to play or take the fine. Show up or pay to continue to not show up. And what is the middle ground in between that? Franchise tags. We'll just dangle a bunch of carrots in front of you, get back on the treadmill, run, and earn your worth. It's happened to running backs. Now it's starting to happen to defensive tackles. Brian Burns from Carolina Panthers, you're next. Mike Evans, you understand what happened. Jonathan Taylor, you understand the business. In addition to the other players that were already before mentioned by you guys, this is the business. The recipe has been completed. Our beloved Eagles shipped off Miles Sanders, who signed a contract with Carolina Panthers.
He got paid though, at least. But we wasn't going to do it.
The contract
was
go
ahead.
But that contract that he signed, Boston Scott, Gainwell, Swift
and Penny, they're all combined making less than
make up his contract. So with that being said, that's business, man. It's just the corporation. It's the nature. It's the game. You just like it was said before. You just at this point you got to put your tape on. You got to put yourself on the field for tape and just get ready to leave, man. Mike Evans shipping off. Brian Burns probably shipping off. Chris Jones probably shipping off. You just got to cut ties because at the end of the day, business is business. And when you put your name on that ink, you are owed. You owe them your time. Now we can discuss contract negotiations. We can discuss pay raises, extensions, incentives. Now, whether we agree or disagree, you're forgetting the bottom line is this. Outside of that guaranteed money, you need to show up. So at the end of the day, like I feel for Chris Jones. I feel for all of these offseason players who didn't get their just due that we all feel like they did deserve. But that's the nature of the business, man. They just gonna find a way around it. It's a revolving door. It's not cheaper to keep her, not cheaper to keep them type concept, but along the lines of that sort of kinda. Like, we'll just find a way around it. Fine, you don't want to play for us anymore. We're just gonna bite. We're just gonna bite the bullet. Give you a wide right now, and just cut ties and just do it with somebody else. Running backs, revolving doors, tight ends are starting to get paid. A la T.J. Hawkinson signed a big contract so far. Outside of Kelsey, you got to be a game changer. But other than that, clearly, the tight end market also looking a little bit hungry as well. So yeah, man, just the nature of the business. I feel bad for Chris Jones as well. He can still get the 25 mil, like you said, but all in all, I feel like he deserves more. But it's the pecking order. It's just not in his favor.
Yeah. It seems like the problems, like you said, with the running back market is starting to leak to these other positions. And if you're not a quarterback, and if you're not a quarterback or a receiver or maybe a corner, you're gonna have to just go above and beyond and get paid. It's just that simple. Not even Chris Jones is immune to it.
Offensive linemen, yeah, as well. They'll get paid. They got their just due. But that's about
Offensive
it.
linemen.
You're
But
right. That's
we've
about
seen
it,
it
bro.
happen on a D line. So offensive linemen, are they safe?
You got to be different, bro. What we say, Aaron Donald.
Zach Martin did it.
And well, Zach Martin did it. Well, that's just good agent. That's just a good agent, bro. That might just be a
He
good
still
agent.
held out though. He still received fines. So it was like offensive linemen will do it if they earn the respect. And Zach Martin is like a top guard in the league.
Yeah,
So
multi-pro bowler, clearly.
So
Absolutely.
you gotta put respect on his name.
Jury, he ain't have a choice. So
that's a bad joint, bro. Like, yeah, it's them contracts, man. Outside that guaranteed money, the only thing you thank God for is the guaranteed money, but that guaranteed money going back to the league and fines if you don't show up to training camp.
But they need more money. But with that being said, before we wrap up episode 130, I just want to get some quick thoughts on week 2 looking ahead. If you guys want later this week, we can do a full, every single game, just go down a list and just predict the winner. But just for now, if you want, we can just talk about which week 2 matchup intrigues you the most. So I got a little list here. We got Jaguars Chiefs in a rematch of the divisional round last year. Ravens at the Bengals, AFC North matchup. Seahawks at the Lions. Jets at the Cowboys would have been an intriguing matchup, but unfortunately Aaron Rodgers is hurt, so Zach Wilson, don't think he's going to do that well against that Cowboys defense we just talked about. Dolphins at the Patriots, Sunday Night Football. Browns at the Steelers, Monday Night Football. So, Chris, I'll start with you. Which one of these matchups stick out the most?
I heard a lot of mid in those games. I'll be honest. I heard a lot of mid. I'm gonna keep it a whole stack with you. I would say if there was a game that's
Kendrick earlier, week 2 looks a little skimpy. You
would
can
say
mention tomorrow's game if you want, but we kind of already did a whole episode.
I would just kind of say the one that intrigues me the most is just I would say the Cowboys and the Jets, just strictly off the fact that I want to see whose defense performs better because we got 2 quarterbacks in there. Neither one of them are really that good. Well, I would say this. One needs to prove himself. Well, they both need to prove themselves, but one's just incredibly overrated. The other one just needs to bounce back from last year. So I just want to see what defense outplays the other one because I think they both have top 3 defenses in the league.
Shout out to how old school we are on this panel. We tune in to watch defenses.
Ball.
Like,
that's
no,
what
bro,
we
love it, right? It's gonna be low scoring. It's not gonna sell tickets. It's gonna be low scoring. But guess what? Like Chris said, we want to see who's better in all facets, especially that side of the foot, because that wins championships, right?
I helps win championships. I'll say that. So I like to see whose defense is better out of those 2. Outside of that, week 2 seems, like I said, it seems pretty mid. In all honesty, y'all should whoop Kirk Cousins and the crew tomorrow because they just lost to Baker Mayfield. So
that ain't gonna be a problem.
And any other game out there,
missing some guys too, but
yeah, Bradbury, feel better, man. We're gonna need you in that secondary. Jefferson, get your
Tom, bro.
Jefferson, get
Sidney Brown, Tom,
Eli Ricks, baby.
Yeah, get that undrafted free agent some snaps, man. He earned the roster spot. Well, go ahead, Johnny. What's your game of the week for week 2?
I like Seahawks Lions. My secondary is going to be Cincinnati and Baltimore. I want to see if Cincinnati can have a get back game. That'll be interesting. It's always good. I love AFC North matchups. Like I said, we're old school on this panel. We love defensive games and we love AFC. And AFC North matchups are always the bloodiest matchups, bro. No matter who matches up in that division, it like you got to put your mouthpiece on just to watch that game. So
Outside
like
of the NFC East, that is like the nastiest division to play
I'm
in.
telling you, man, it's definitely. I can't wait to see that. That'll be interesting. I think Burrow gets back a little bit more. Chase got a reason to play. That Baltimore defense, we'll see how good they can be. That'll be interesting. But Seahawks, Lions, I do want to mention that because at the end of the day,
Because Gino, your boy.
That's it. Yeah. I was
Big homie right there.
last year, bro.
That's your boy.
Me and Colin, bro. Me and Steve was rocking with Gino, and you know what I mean. I ain't gonna lie. Week 1, we're gonna pull our hats down on that one. I'm not gonna lie. Gino didn't even like him. I think he like almost slammed his helmet at the end of the game going towards the sidelines, and it was pretty ugly. It was a bad week 1 for a lot
letting
of
the
teams,
Rams
but
dog walk him like that. Ugh.
Bro, well, listen, there was a play. First of all, I don't blame him. There was a play. That O-line got to do better. There was a play Aaron Donald, like, came off of a stunt from around the corner, and he rushed Gino. Gino just threw it. Like, I think there's like a sound bite where Gino was mic'd, and he was like, oh, as he was throwing the ball. Like, pull it up, man. Like, I'm telling you. Gino won. Gino Smith mic'd up week 1. Geno Smith mic'd up week 1. You will hear that clip. Aaron Donald came off of a stunt, and it scared the living Jesus out of him. Me too. He got rid of that
James
football.
Brown screen.
Boy,
he was like, oh my God.
He did that James Brown scream like.
You kidding me? Woo!
No. The Tom and Jerry scream, bro.
Yo, chill.
Yo, that's wild. I know that. Yeah, we some geeks, so what? But anyway, I do look forward to that matchup. Kenneth Walker, better game I expect. That Seattle secondary, I want to see how they match up against Amon-Ra St. Brown and the crew. Sam Laporta, what a rookie so far. Had a surprising game last Thursday. Couple of catches, had some impressive yards. Jahmyr Gibbs turned out to be a heck of a receiver running back, and man, is he shifty. My God. Ty Montgomery scoring touches. I like it. I like it. I want to see what Gino and I expect Gino to come back, man. I expect Gino to come back. DK utilized him, had a good week last week. That should be an underrated matchup. Bloody matchup between Cincinnati and Baltimore, but that'll be an interesting matchup between Seattle and Detroit.
All right, Kendrick, last but not least.
Yeah. This week isn't that exciting. However, I will speak on the Ravens and the Bengals solely because I feel like we're through week 1. Everyone's settled. I want to see Lamar actually tap into that offense because I feel like he was messing around last week. He left a lot on his plate, and I feel like that's not Lamar. But I feel like going into this next week, he's definitely gonna pick it up. They're gonna use him more, especially in running the ball. And get him actually showing himself in running and in being a pocket passer. I feel like Odell is also going to have a better day for that. So I feel like their offense is going to look good. And then Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are looking and being like, no, we need to have a better week because we need to show that we are still actually a dominant force in the NFL and not just some team that just had a quick run and fall off. So I feel like it's definitely going to be a hard fought game. I definitely feel like it's also going to be low-key high scoring as well. I'm seeing like the end score be like maybe 31-24.
But with the personnel,
I feel like they both going to have a lot to prove, even though but I feel like it's going to be high scoring.
Not 22-16, 2016.
I feel like it's going to be. I think it's going to be a little high scoring because I feel like they're both going to have to show like what their offense is really capable of. Especially the Bengals after the dismal performance they had last week with the Browns, they have something to show.
Because Bills and Jets, like, that was a nasty 23-16. But I feel like this game would be a fun 23-16. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Well, it's
like
definitely what you know.
Smash mouth, just like, just. I mean, I know the league is changing. Like, it's not the classic AFC North, that we've become to know and love, but I mean,
the most flags have been thrown in the AFC North.
We need a throwback, just like hard-hitting, low-scoring game that's not the result of just bad offense, but the result of good defense.
We ain't talking about the stretcher game. We don't want that now. Remember the stretcher game of
No, I don't.
way
I
back
mean, I don't want to see guys get hurt, but
that.
I want to see
James Harrison and Pac-Man
I want to see guys get hurt, but I don't want to see them get injured. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. I love it. I freaking love it. That's what I'm talking about.
Like just old school football. I need that, man. But with that being said, that is week 1. It is over, come and gone. Our review has come and gone. It's in the books. Week 2 coming up tomorrow night at the link, all the way until Monday, where it ends at Pittsburgh with the Browns and the Steelers. We might, maybe Friday, we might, do a full just breakdown of every game if you guys want. Johnny, we still got to do a betting episode. I'm planning on doing that possibly on Friday if we don't do the
pull
full
your FanDuel
week
out.
2 episode. Yeah, like we pick our locks, pick our upsets, do some player props.
Sir.
It doesn't have to be all NFL as well because we still got MLB going strong into the pennant race. We still have college football.
And college.
So, yeah, college football. You want to pick some money lines for college football? We can do that. So,
bet Colorado over.
That feels like easy money nowadays. Now, Colorado money line
over.
Yeah, so and of course, as I mentioned, me and Kendrick, episode 129, Eagles Vikings preview, episode 128 with Johnny, Eagles schedule breakdown. Please check those out and just be on the lookout. Like, share, subscribe. As always, comment, hit that bell for notifications for whenever we upload a new episode. So with that being said, I'm Jonah. That's Kendrick, Johnny, just Johnny, and Chris, who joined us a little late. Thank you, boys, for tuning in. And y'all have a good night.